Makebi Zulu's bold warning: "I'll use another party if PF is blocked, HH must go." Welcome to InspirAfrica Official, where we go beyond the headline. In this video, we examine Makebi Zulu's explosive statement declaring his readiness to abandon the PF brand if necessary, all in pursuit of a single objective: removing President Hakainde Hichilema from power. We will explore the political context behind this statement, what it reveals about divisions within PF, whether this is a viable strategy or a risky overreach. This is analysis, not propaganda, not praise, just facts, context, and consequences. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. Well, it's been quite a week here, hasn't it? The political temperatures continue to rise as we head deeper into what many are calling Zambia's most consequential political season in recent memory. And today, we have a story that's sending shockwaves through the corridors of power. Zambian politics has just witnessed a seismic declaration that could reshape the entire opposition landscape. Imagine this: a senior political figure, a man who once stood shoulder to shoulder with the Patriotic Front through thick and thin, now standing at a crossroads. Picture him, microphone in hand, cameras rolling, making a declaration so bold, so unprecedented, that it forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about loyalty in Zambian politics. What happens when a political heavyweight publicly threatens to abandon his party if it's blocked from participating in elections? What does it mean when that same figure issues an ultimatum demanding that a sitting president must go? Is this the final fracturing of an opposition already struggling to find unity, or is this a calculated chess move in a game where the stakes couldn't be higher? Makebi Zulu, former minister, political strategist, and PF loyalist, has just dropped a political bombshell that no one saw coming. His message is clear, unambiguous, and delivered with the kind of conviction that makes you wonder. Is this the beginning of a new political alliance, or the desperate cry of an opposition watching its chances slip away? And perhaps most critically, when a senior opposition figure declares that President Hakainde Hichilema must go, while simultaneously threatening to abandon his own party, what does this reveal about the state of Zambian democracy itself? Factual foundation, background and timeline. The revelation came to light during a charged political gathering that took place in recent days, where Makebi Zulu addressed party faithful and concerned citizens about the future of opposition politics in Zambia. Now, to understand the gravity of this moment, we need to step back and examine the context. Makebi Zulu is no ordinary politician. This is a man who served in significant ministerial positions under the Patriotic Front government. He's been a stalwart of the party, someone who understood the machinery of government from the inside, who weathered the storms of political transition when the PF lost power in 2021. The Patriotic Front itself has been navigating turbulent waters since losing the 2021 general elections to the United Party for National Development. Former President Edgar Lungu has been at the center of ongoing legal and constitutional debates about his eligibility to run for office again. The party has faced internal divisions, questions about leadership succession, and persistent rumors about possible deregistration or legal obstacles that could prevent it from participating in future elections. These aren't just abstract concerns. In recent months, there have been intensifying discussions, both in legal circles and in the court of public opinion, about whether the PF would face administrative or legal barriers that could effectively sideline it from the electoral process. Some of these discussions have centered on party registration requirements, adherence to electoral regulations, and the broader question of political space in Zambia's multi-party democracy. It was against this backdrop of uncertainty that Makebi Zulu stepped forward. The specific event occurred at a venue where PF supporters and sympathizers had gathered, anticipating perhaps a message of solidarity or strategic planning. What they got instead was something far more dramatic. A conditional declaration that placed Zulu's own political future, and implicitly the future of opposition unity, on the line. The sequence of events unfolded like this: first, Zulu acknowledged the challenges facing the Patriotic Front. Then, he systematically laid out his assessment of the current political landscape under President Hichilema's UPND government. And finally, he delivered the ultimatum that has now become the talk of political Zambia. If the PF is blocked from participating in elections, he will not hesitate to use another political vehicle to pursue his opposition agenda. But he didn't stop there. Zulu went further, making an explicit call for President Hakainde Hichilema to step down, arguing that his administration has failed to deliver on its promises and that Zambia needs new leadership. The timing of this declaration is significant. We're in a period where opposition parties are meant to be consolidating, building alliances, and presenting a united front. Instead, we're witnessing what appears to be contingency planning, a senior opposition figure publicly announcing his readiness to abandon ship if necessary. Direct evidence, quotes and testimony. Now, let's hear directly from Makebi Zulu himself, because the power of this moment lies not just in what was said, but in how it was said. Addressing the gathering, Zulu began with a stark assessment of the current situation. Let me be very clear with all of you here today. We are facing unprecedented challenges as an opposition. The Patriotic Front has been our home, our political vehicle, the party through which we've served our people. But I want to say something today that needs to be said, something that needs to be understood by everyone, including those in power who think they can manipulate the democratic process to their advantage. He paused there, letting the weight of his words settle over the crowd before continuing. If the Patriotic Front is blocked, and I mean genuinely blocked through legal or administrative manipulation, from participating in elections, I will not sit idle. I will not retire from politics. I will not watch from the sidelines. No. I will find another party. I will use another political vehicle. Because what matters is not the name on the ballot, but the mission we carry forward. The crowd reportedly erupted at this point, with mixed reactions, some cheering what they saw as pragmatic determination, others visibly concerned about what this might mean for party unity. But Zulu wasn't finished. He then pivoted to what many consider the most explosive part of his address. And while we're speaking truths today, let me say this clearly: President Hakainde Hichilema must go. HH must go. This administration has failed Zambians on multiple fronts. The promises made have not been kept. The economic situation has worsened for ordinary citizens. The cost of living is unbearable. And instead of focusing on these bread and butter issues, we see a government more interested in persecuting its opponents than in delivering results. He continued, his voice rising with conviction. So when I say HH must go, I'm not speaking from partisan bitterness. I'm speaking from the reality that millions of Zambians are living every single day. They cannot afford a meal. They cannot afford fuel. They cannot afford basic necessities. And yet, what do we see? We see a government that seems more concerned with consolidating power than with alleviating suffering. When questioned by attendees about whether his stance represented a break with the PF leadership, Zulu responded, "This is not about breaking with anyone. This is about being honest about our options. If the democratic space is respected, if the PF is allowed to compete fairly, then of course we proceed as we are. But if we see manipulation, if we see attempts to block us from the ballot, then we must have alternatives." Any serious politician who cares about this country must think ahead, must plan for contingencies. One participant reportedly asked him directly, "Are you saying you would join another party?" "Which party?" Zulu's response was measured but firm. "I'm saying that I will use whatever legitimate political vehicle is available to continue the fight for better governance in Zambia." "Which specific party?" "That would depend on the circumstances, on who shares our values, on who is serious about removing this UPND government from power. What I won't do is sit at home and let Zambians suffer under failed leadership without offering an alternative." Deeper analysis, implications and reactions. So what do we make of this extraordinary declaration? What are the broader implications for Zambian politics? First, let's consider what this reveals about the state of the opposition. Makebi Zulu's statement, on one level, can be read as pragmatic political planning. After all, if there are genuine concerns about the PF's ability to participate in elections, having contingency plans isn't unreasonable. But on another level, this public announcement of such contingencies could be interpreted as a lack of confidence in the party's leadership to navigate these challenges. Political analysts we've spoken with have mixed reactions. Dr. Mutal Chisanga, a political science lecturer at the University of Zambia, offered this perspective. What we're seeing here is a symptom of deeper fragmentation within opposition ranks. When senior figures start publicly discussing abandoning the party, even conditionally, it signals either that they don't believe the party can survive current pressures, or that they're positioning themselves for a post-PF political landscape. But others see it differently. Opposition activist and commentator Chanda Mwansa argues, Makebi Zulu is actually demonstrating strategic thinking. He's telling the UPND government, you can try to block the PF, but the opposition won't disappear. We'll find other ways to challenge you. This isn't weakness. It's a warning that the opposition is adaptable. The legal dimensions here are also worth exploring. Can the PF actually be blocked from participating in elections? Under what circumstances? The Electoral Commission of Zambia has regulations governing party registration and participation, but outright blocking a major political party would be unprecedented and legally complex. Constitutional lawyer James Banda explains. There would need to be serious violations of electoral law or party registration requirements. Simply being in opposition or having financial challenges wouldn't be sufficient grounds. Any attempt to deregister or block a major party would likely face significant legal challenges and international scrutiny. This raises questions about whether Zulu's concerns are based on specific intelligence about government plans, or whether they reflect more generalized anxiety about the political environment. Then there's the call for President Hichilema to step down. This isn't unprecedented. Opposition figures regularly call for sitting presidents to resign. But coming in the context of Zulu's other statements, it takes on additional weight. It suggests not just routine opposition rhetoric, but a genuine belief that the current government is not just failing, but actively harmful to Zambia's democratic prospects. Government spokespersons have largely dismissed Zulu's statements as desperate opposition politics. Minister of Information and Media Chushur Kasanda responded to questions about the matter by saying, the UPND government respects democratic processes and multi-party democracy. Opposition parties are free to organize and compete. What we won't accept are attempts to undermine legitimate governance through unfounded accusations. But critics counter that this response doesn't address the substantive concerns about political space and democratic freedoms that Zulu and others have raised. There's also an interesting ethnic and regional dimension to consider. Makebi Zulu's willingness to consider other political vehicles raises questions about whether we might see new alignments based on regional or ethnic considerations, or whether this signals a move toward more ideology-based or issue-based political formations. Some observers wonder whether Zulu might be positioning himself for a role in a broader opposition alliance. Perhaps something that brings together PF remnants with other opposition parties like the United Kwacha Alliance or even breakaway factions from other parties. The ambiguities here are significant. We don't know exactly what conditions would trigger Zulu's departure from the PF. We don't know which alternative party he might consider. We don't even know whether this represents a coordinated strategy with other senior PF figures or a solo move that might actually accelerate the party's fragmentation. What we do know is that this declaration has opened up a conversation about opposition unity, or the lack thereof, that will likely dominate political discourse in the coming months.